Rob Hatter. You are now tuned in to the Chop Shop. I'm Retro. Let's get it. We in the Chop Shop. We live in the Chop Shop. We talking sports talk. We live in the Chop Shop. We in the Chop Shop. I'm talking sports talk. So turn your dials up. It's live in the Chop Shop. We in the Chop Shop. We live in the Chop Shop. We talking sports talk. We live in the Chop Shop. We in the Chop Shop. I'm talking sports talk. So turn your dials up, it's live in the Chop Shop. Yeah, it's lit in the Chop Shop. Turn your dials up in the drop top. They ain't based to debate, but they keep it fact straight. Going 30 for 30, let's do a first take. On Facebook Live from 12 to 2. Rob Hatter and Jim Hicks. Going back and forth like Carter Ray, Skip Bayless, and Stephen Smith. From on the court, off the court, straight to the field. Not a man that steals, but I made it steal. To the octagon where I fight to kill. We go face to face, then you write your will. I don't play tennis, but I bring the racket. I'm on the floor, I attack the basket. Put you in the casket when I'm overlapping. Never showing mercy, cause I'm always snapping. Never showing mercy when I'm in the arena. Step into the ring, you see me as I beat him. Step into the court, I'm never backing down. Killing competition, I'm smacking down. Let me get back to the other stuff at the Chop Shop, cause they cutting up. It's Retro coming to you live to the Chop Shop. Now let's turn it up. Yeah, we in the Chop Shop, man. Shout out to Jim Hicks and Rob Hatter. You can catch the Chop Shop live from 12 to 2 on Facebook Live. Play tennis, but I bring the racket. I'm on the floor, I attack the basket. Put you in the casket when I'm overlapping. Never showing mercy, cause I'm always snapping. Never showing mercy when I'm in the arena. Step into the ring, you see me as I beat him. Step into the court, I'm never backing down. Killing competition, I'm smacking down. Let me get back to the other stuff at the Chop Shop, cause they cutting up. It's Retro coming to you live to the Chop Shop. Now let's turn it up. Yeah, we in the Chop Shop, man. Shout out to Jim Hicks and Rob Hatter. You can catch the Chop Shop live from 12 to 2 on Facebook Live. Let's get it. We in the Chop Shop. We live in the Chop Shop. We talking sports talk. We live in the Chop Shop. We in the Chop Shop. I'm talking sports talk. So turn your dials up. It's live in the Chop Shop. We in the Chop Shop. We live in the Chop Shop. We talking sports talk. We live in the Chop Shop. We in the Chop Shop. I'm talking sports talk. So turn your dials up. It's live in the Chop Shop.
H-Town! What's up? You know what time it is. It's time for the best 120 minutes of your day. The Chop Shop, the nation's #1 urban sports talk show, and also your midday sports happy hour. Yours truly, Robert Hatter, alongside Jim Hicks, coming to you live from Houston, Texas. But we broadcasting all over the world. And we broadcasting on 2 platforms at the same time, Facebook Live, and also we on YouTube Live. Jimmy, it's a great weekend. We miss you over the weekend. We had an impromptu Friday, Chop Shop, the newest special edition. We had some great guests on the show that day. Stacey Houston, LJ Cryer, Greater Houston's Player of the Year by the Chronicle, RJ Hampton, and we had a cameo appearance by Rod Hampton, and a cameo appearance by RJ Hampton. But you know what, Jimmy? I got some, maybe the greatest Hall of Fame class ever. Kobe and Company. We'll talk about that later. But I want to tell everybody today, thank you for joining us. Thanks to the medical professionals and the first responders who are working so hard, so bravely to keep us safe and keep us healthy. This program is for you. And if it helps you get through 15 minutes of relaxation and just get things off your mind, then it's well worth our effort today. Jimmy, back to what I was saying, the 2020 Basketball Hall of Fame was announced. All 8 finalists were selected, and it was headlined, of course, by the great Kobe Bryant, who is joined in this class, among others, Tim Duncan and Kevin Garnett. Jimmy, you would be hard-pressed to find a more decorative trio of players to be enshrined in a single year. So shout out to those guys. And we'll talk. I know we're going to talk about it later. But what's going on, man? We ain't seen you in a few days. What's happening?
Oh man, we're gonna go make a lap around the track and on a lot of variety of topics today. We'll open up the phone lines after a while. I see a lot of you guys on there. Shout out to, first and foremost, let's pause right there, because when you are a supporter of the Chop Shop, we are supporters of you. And with that have been said, shout out to, and we want to join us, guys, right now, and go into your keyboard and providing a very happy birthday for Trey Phillips on this day. So shout out to Trey Phillips. He's on the feed right there. If you're watching on the Facebook feed, we're streaming live YouTube and Facebook. But he's on the Facebook feed. Give Trey Phillips a happy birthday. Shout out, I see Tony Washington out there. And you know, the question is, Tony Washington is the longtime voice of the Houston, what is known as
Jimmy, before you go to Tony, don't forget, say a happy birthday to Wendy Johnson. I didn't know about Trey Phillips, but I put Wendy on the screen. She's a supporter of the Chop Shop also. Happy birthday, Wendy Johnson, too.
You got to add Trey name on.
Yeah, I got to add him up, but hey, I didn't know about Trey.
But you got to put Trey on that. Now, of course, I mean, Tony Washington is a longtime voice of the what was known as the Pro-Am. That's held every summer at the Fundy Recreation Center. Used to be back at the Adams Gym on TSU campus years back. Well, that league is in jeopardy of not being played this summer as well. As the dots continue to, or the dominoes continue to fall, you know, albeit for the wrong reasons, a lot of events for precautionary purposes are being postponed, rescheduled, canceled as a result of COVID-19. And so the thing is, of course, this morning, or shortly within the past hour, the Masters has set their rescheduled date to in November. So the Masters, which is normally held in August of every year.
No.
End of July.
April. Right by like Mother's Day. Yeah, Mother's Day.
It is April. Yeah. So that thing is that's right. I'm thinking my mind.
No, that's all right. Well, hey, that's why I told you. Ask me about the golf.
No, I was thinking about being in Augusta in that time. That's right. It's already passed. By the time we would be in Augusta annually for Peach Jam, and that's right. It's always after Peach Jam is always after the Masters, but that's going to be held in November, and as it stands. And so now there's a great article in today's Washington Post that presents one hell of a dose of a fear factor, saying that 2021 there could be no sports in 2021, and we don't know yet, because what's going to happen is, and just common sense, the NBA, even if they resume their season, is going to probably be with very limited fans in attendance, meaning that immediate family members only, if that. Now, NFL is what all eyes are on. All eyes are on the NFL season, because that's the cash cow. Well, so if the NFL season, whatever they do, and you see once again, the President 45 jumped his butt in the middle of the street and claiming that he projected them to stay on. I go Kobe, y'all. He giving a shout out to you guys as well, and our puppy. But guess what? This is the same president who just recently projected incorrectly that Easter Sunday everything would be over. Everything would be back to normal. Pretty much insinuated that. Well, so now NFL season is going to dictate a lot of stuff, because that doesn't take place until August.
No, Jimmy, I think you got it backwards. How we fight this coronavirus is going to dictate how the NFL start.
No, but I'm just saying, but fight NFL.
How we fighting this coronavirus going to dictate how the NBA, how the NFL starts. I'm just telling you. You're putting the cart before the horse.
But that's a normal. That's a given for the
Yeah.
NFL to even start playing, meaning that you have to have reached a certain plateau of as far as the COVID-19 before they even set everything and lay everything out. So that's the thing. That's obvious. That's a free space in bingo. So that means all eyes once again would be on once the NFL, then everything else will lay on out. That's the thing. Remember now, just watch, because the NCAA aren't going to jump in front of the NFL. The NBA, they've already got the solution because the NBA is watching what the Chinese Basketball Association is doing.
And the Chinese Basketball Association is not doing that well right now.
They're watching, exactly. So they're watching what they're doing. And then whatever they do is going to be at least a 2-month window behind the start of what they do. So I mean, if the Chinese league starts next month, that means the NBA won't start until July. They're going to give a 2-month.
Ken Gamble, thank you. So he said the way this country is handling this crisis, it'll be 8 more months for everything to get back to normal. Hey, well, I'm glad. I mean, we can always have optimism, but we still got people just casually just thinking this thing is not that serious. So it's unique that we talking about the starting of sports, and of course I want sports to start back up. Of course, it benefits me deeply. Please let the NFL start. Please let these guys be able to go and get their physicals so they can get their checks. Please let this happen. But I'm just something about this thing, man, is just the cavalier attitude from some people that I see all over the world that just think this is still, some people think it's still a game. Some people really think it's still a game. And some people, like you said, don't care. Yeah. No, I never flew on Air Force One. Ever in life. I saw it once, but I never flew on it because I got on my hat. And by the way, this is a Barack Obama inauguration hat. Inauguration number 2. It's not a Donald Trump hat. Let's get that straight right now. Let me bring it in close. Bring it in close.
You wear that hat over my hood.
They won't. They over in your hood. They don't even know what this means.
Yeah, they do too.
Over there, they don't.
But hey, that look like the law. You wear that hat. You wear that hat in your.
Oh, this dude look okay. I got you.
Like the law coming over my hood. They gonna say,
hey, the last time I was over in your hood, I ain't been back over there since.
I don't know what to say. I mean, it's so. Speaking of my hood, I mean, and you guys, if you live in Northeast Houston, Homestead, I had 2 deaths. One was right across the street yesterday. One of the guys that went to school with me had a heart attack out of driving his truck. Heart attack while driving. Ran car, veered off and into the ditch. You know, in my hood, we don't have sidewalks. We got ditches. So you roll over on the side. You ain't worry about nobody running up in your house. If you're off the side of the road like in your hood, they in that ditch. That ditch gonna hold them. So poor wolf. I mean, man, I gotta go around to his folks' house. I don't know how much. Well, I guess I put my mask on and go around there and pay my respect.
Dude, this stuff crazy,
from the street. Then another one had at the overpass on Homestead. There was a body up under the overpass last week. 2.
Okay.
But guess what they did though? Them people came on Friday and took both of the basketball goals out the park, unhooked all both of the basketball goals. The city of Houston Park and Recreation Department. Let me tell you something. When you take away the basketball goals in the hood, that's almost like, whoa, man, you take away the goals. I understand. I'm just making fun of it.
You know what, Jimmy? I understand what you're saying, but it's a shame that people have to take it away from you. That means that's think about it. It's a shame that they have to do that because people they just have no self-control, man. God, this stuff, man, this stuff is really, man, to a guy that always traveling, always out of town, always going, always, dude, I'm glad, man. I just sit out on the back patio the other day, Jimmy. Had a bottle and didn't even open it, Jimmy. You remember I text you, Jimmy. I had the bottle and a champagne, and when Loopy texted me talking about how that's a vintage bottle, Jimmy, I thought about it and put it back up.
And speaking of China, I want to pass on a message I got last week, and you guys know the Chop Shop. Joseph Young is a great supporter of the Chop Shop. We're supportive of him. Former Yates High School star. Went to Oregon, Pac-12 Player of the Year. Played in the Indiana Pacers in the league for about 4 years, and now he's in China. Just arrived back, right? And he's, if you missed on it, the Chinese Basketball Association League, whatever it's called, they have pushed back the projected start of their season. So now they're thinking it'll be around the second week of May. Their season is going to not have any fans anyway when they start. Here's what the deal is with Joe Young asked me to pass on to you guys. And he's going to come and share with us soon as they start playing. We don't want to get Joe in trouble and make him appear to be like a whiner if he was on here live. So that's what the thing, because he wanted to come on today. So no, young fella. Don't come on today. We don't want you, because here's what his conditions are. He, along with his other teammates, they are sequestered in a hotel right now. They are in a hotel. How about this? These are pros now. He can't leave, not at the hotel. He can't leave out of his room. So understand the difference on how it's being treated in China. Understand, he can't leave out of his hotel room. There's the guards on the floor where the team is staying at, watching. They get fed twice a day. You hear me? They come and bring the food to them, the room service. They get fed twice a day. The last meal is around 6 p.m. So think about the habits. Talking about a grown man, a pro.
But you can have some snacks there. You gonna have
where you getting them from? Yeah, you got to call downstairs. But then I'm just saying, he can't leave.
Yeah,
that's the thing. So that means whatever you call and get.
That's the thing. When you sign up to go play in a communist country, you know how everybody talking about, man, I want to play overseas. I want to play overseas. I want to play. Jimmy, you got that. You have to abide by the rules. A tweet turned the whole thing around over there. So let me tell you something. That's a police state. It's communist rule, and everything that comes. Thank God we got Joe, and they're not censoring him and can tell us. And by the way, we got a nurse on the line, Tamika. I put it on the ring. She said. On the Facebook feed, she said the stuff I've witnessed, they need the hardcore lockdown. Everybody need. It's not a game. This is a nurse.
Well, here's the thing. That's the whole. See, that's the part that gets. I don't have a problem with it. The thing is, if you know, and the president, he's gave the authority to each of the governors to run their house how they want to. So the thing is, if you think that it's so, there's some hell. It's so. Think about it like this. Galena Park is part of Houston, right? It's within the Harris County. It's a town. If you're not from here, what they call the ship channel over in East Houston, that's where the boats come in. A lot of our imports come in through that means the ones that are coming through water, that is. Well, that's right in the shadows is the area of town called Galena Park. Galena Park has implemented a curfew from 9 p.m. to 5 a.m.
But Jimmy, hold on.
The rest of Houston has no curfew.
Jimmy, you always, you know what? Do you depend on the government for everything? Sometimes we got to use our common sense and our wisdom. Sometimes you can't depend on the federal government to say, or the local government to lock you down. Lock yourself down. That's the point. I just don't understand. And I don't think you grasp it yet. You talking about, well, Galena Park, they done closed it down. The different states. Guess what? You have the same information, John Q. Public. They giving you the same information. But we got people that's getting this information and still just saying, I'm gonna stick. If they don't take them goals down in Parkwood, whatever, Rose Park, I'm gonna still go out there and hoop, me and my boys. We have to let somebody else determine our state. And we really don't. The government should be ruled by the people and for the people. We sit around here waiting. Yes, Mr. Government, whatever you tell me, something, Mr. Master, that's what I'm going to do.
Didn't you just acknowledge that some people don't care?
I ain't talking about them the damn fools I'm talking to.
So guess what?
Excuse me. Them the damn fools I'm talking to.
And guess what? If you don't care, then you just said you try to be concerned about the ones who do.
So guess what? So if they don't care, what the government don't, them dudes gonna go find a backyard to shoot basketball in.
No. But what happens is now there will be consequences for the choices. Now there's no consequences. That's the thing. There's no consequences.
Excuse me. I'm not, you like to have a crutch for these people. I'm not giving them a crutch. I don't care if they don't care. Shit, I care. See, some people say they don't care if they die or not. I care. I got a lot to live for.
Okay, so but then for those who care, then that means you would have to enforce something to protect yourself from the people that don't care.
Every law is made to be broken. Them people enforce laws every day. And guess what? People break them.
Explain what's happening with the Joseph Young right now in China then. So explain that. He can't leave out of his room to go downstairs to the front desk.
Jimmy, I'm sorry, sir. It's a difference between listening and hearing. Joseph Young is in a communist state. Go look it up. No. Don't assume. No.
The rule, if a rule is
excuse me, sir. Joseph Young is in a communist. Go look it up and understand communism first.
So the people in Galena Park, don't it feel like a communist state?
No, it don't. It don't.
After 9 p.m.,
you got
a curfew?
No, it don't.
You can't. So if you get caught on the streets, you understand. First time is a fine.
Jimmy, what they doing over there in Galena Park? Jimmy, what they doing over there in Galena Park is a vast difference from what happening. I haven't been able to go and travel to communist states before. It's a different animal, sir. I'm just trying to tell you.
I'm not talking about the way that the country is ran. I'm talking about the simple enforcement of staying in your dwelling. That's all I'm talking about. I'm not talking about who's running the country. I'm not talking about that. You're talking about the way.
Well, that's what I'm talking about.
I'm talking about simply in saying you can't leave out your house and we catch you in the streets, you're going to go to jail or you will get a fine. That's all I'm talking about. For example, okay, don't it feel like a communist country coming into hold on. I got one of my people that came from Louisiana on I-10 on Sunday. Guess what happened when they got to the border? When they passed Lake Charles and they came on through a couple more miles, guess what happened? That was a massive roadblock. Now, understand, for cars going and coming into Texas, they had to pull over like you do when you're coming from McAllen and you're coming by Corpus Christi. They have one of those pullovers and you got to come through a little checkpoint. They're asking various cars various questions. Where you're going to be, you got to have your license, where you're going to stay at. And that's for so think about the backlog of cars, which it shouldn't be that many anyway. Now, truck drivers, I think they have some exclusions for those people and whatnot. But the thing is, for those people, many of those, that's something that the government, the local governments, and adjoining Louisiana / Texas. Actually, Texas is the one that decided, because anybody from Louisiana have to coming into Texas is required to quarantine for 14 days. Louisiana and New York City. But so here's the thing: those people are being, to some, they may feel like they're being very inconvenienced.
Well, stay behind at home. That's their choice to leave there and come here.
Adam, okay, explain this to me. You living in Louisiana, right? Right? There was one guy that I read in the paper, in the newspaper. about the story about the one guy, and which is you can feel this, and it don't apply to everybody, but it's one guy. His ex-wife lives in Lafayette. He lives on this side of Texas near the Beaumont area. He gets custody of his sons every 2 weeks. So he had to go and take his kid back to their mom this weekend, right? He picked them up, had to go take them back. So little bitty things like that to him, like I said, that's isolated, but then they have to, I'm quite sure they're going to make a solution for it. He probably has some paperwork.
Everybody is having inconveniences right now. It's 6 million people filed for unemployment. When this thing first happened, I came on this show and said, hey man, this is our new normal. We got to understand, we got to do stuff different but I guess a lot of people don't know what new normal means. But I hope you're finding out a lot more now. This is our new normal. Our new normal should be, hey man, stay my butt in the house. I want to get out and drive around like everybody else, and I do. I get and ride my bike. But when it's just certain things, and some people say it be trying to be moral. I'm not trying to be morally correct. I'm trying to pretend, imagine if Robert had this disease. I don't want to give it to nobody. So that's how I govern myself. I can't make the police. The police, I know for a fact he ain't gonna lock me up about going to the gym, because I'm not gonna go to the gym. I miss going to the gym. I miss going to work out. I miss going to do all this stuff. Hold up. It's inconveniences me. It's certain things that I need to do right now that's costing me a lot of stuff. And guess what? I can't do them. I can't do them because I said, hold on, man. I am not going to endanger myself, or the other people. That's all. That's the mindset being an American that I think that all of us should have. But guess what? Like you said, some people don't care. So I understand some people don't care, but I care. That's all. That's all. We can get up here and talk about this in Galena Park and all of that. The Galena Park people in Galena Park, well, guess what you got to do? Just don't go out. After 9 p.m., stay in the house. That's all. Until this too shall pass. That's biblical. This too shall pass. It's going to pass at some point. Gain a new skill. Go learn a new skill. Read a book. I'm doing stuff that I never thought of. Guess what? When I come out of this, I'm gonna be ready to roll. That's what I would encourage everybody to do instead of trying to figure out ways to beat the system. No, we got nurses on here, we got medical people on here that's on the front line. Thank you, Tamika, for being here. I hope we can help you today. And anything you can help us with, you can put it on the Facebook feed. We got to stop getting to these, just because you don't care, we got to stop giving excuses to people who don't care. Because other people care about their lives. Other people, y'all, I talked to y'all about this couple when Kobe died. And I was talking about how he maximized his dash. And I know I hit Jimmy with that this morning. I know he said, what that mean? Maximize, all I'm saying is Kobe was born, in 78, and he died in 2020, right? That dash in between, what did he do in that dash? So all I'm going to do, if I got to go, I'm going to maximize this dash. That's why I came on the show on Friday. I'm trying to maximize. We don't know what's going on out here. Let's maximize. I'm going to live this life that I got like I don't have no other. Guess what? Guess what I done learned to do? Sit down and read. Sit down, Robert Hatter, and be still and be around the people that you love. Guess what? I haven't done that. Now I'm FaceTime. Me and my son don't FaceTime. I don't FaceTime no dude. Me and him FaceTiming and talk. I'm doing the best. All I'm trying to do is be an example. Young people, let's maximize our dash in this life. Because some people say, man, I'm going to die anyway. Yes. Well, let's maximize it. Let's enjoy this thing. Let's come out of this crisis with some more skills, some more knowledge, some more. Because guess what? It's businesses, y'all, are going, listen to me, it's businesses, Clarence Harris, that are going to go under. Okay? It happened before. During the internet age, when the internet became prevalent. So a lot of business went out of business. A lot of places went out of business. Guess why? Because a lot of the old guard didn't want to change. They just doubled down. Blockbuster. Blockbuster used to have a Blockbuster bowl, Jimmy, a football bowl. Blockbuster was on top of the world. It's completely obliterated because guess what, Jimmy? They didn't understand that internet and streaming. It's some businesses going to be lost, ladies and gentlemen, in this. And guess what? And it's some business going to be born out of this thing. Let's take a look on what we can do, Boom Boom Room, to put ourselves in a position of power when we come out of this thing. So, I mean, that's what I think we should be doing. Let's maximize. Thank you, Chatterbot. Maximize your dash. I know. Don't steal that one from me, because I got some more, but I don't want to take up the whole show. I'm gonna do it over time. But let's maximize it, and I'm gonna show you some things to do. How to maximize your dash. Go on, Jim.
You steal mine, they can steal yours. Hell.
What? Huh?
You steal mine, they can steal yours. You steal mine, my hit
yeah. Always don't. But I don't have as many as you.
No.
Jim, I don't have as many as you.
The difference between listening and hearing and listening. You took that one and ran to the bank with that one. People think you done copyrighted that one.
Hey.
Shout out, of course, to Alfio VZ out there, Clarence Harris, Larry the Chatterbox Hill, 90.9 is the personality. He was jamming on Friday. Got a chance to get the rare opportunity to cruise with him when I was on Friday on the way to the mechanic to go and get the vehicle service, and got a chance to jam with Chatterbox. Shout out to him. He always keeps us going. Shout out to Cynthia Guillory up in DFW.
What's up, Cynthia?
And she says it's going to require people to read and do some research in order for them to come out better. Yeah, that's a free space and bingo right there.
Look what you did, Jimmy, during this crisis. Look what you did.
I
announced it on yesterday. We talked about the $5,000 you brought up, and I messed with you about it. You talk, and I knew you was gonna do something. I knew it, and you went and doubled down and said, "Okay, I'm gonna give $10,000." So what? Guess what you did? This crisis. That's what I'm trying to tell people. In this crisis, your creativity. You got to read book. I got a book for you. Leaders Eat Last by Simon Sinek. Go read it. The leaders eat last. Boy, don't listen to the heading. Leaders always eat last. In other words, you're letting your people flourish. You're giving your people a chance to make mistakes and do well. Great book. But Jimmy, thank you. But you sit there and say, okay, this happened. All right, I got that. I want everybody to take that mindset into whatever they do and whatever gifts you have, and let's make some. Jimmy, some more things need to be made better in this grassroots community. We got some brilliant people on this feed. Let's get it done. Go on, Jim. I'm sorry.
Well, I mean, Tamika, you done got Tamika fired up today.
What'd she say?
And she's one of our essential workers.
Employees, yes.
And Tamika, she's in the healthcare, in the medical field, and she says if people will stop focusing on the what ifs and the what's to come, be it a man-made virus or biological warfare, it's here killing almost everyone it encounters. The conspiracy theorist says that 5G towers are making people sick. Focus on what's happening now, which is stopping the spread of this virus, which is expected to worsen over the next 2 weeks. Stay inside, limit store visits, wear masks. And that's another thing, like I said, is just the inconsistencies. Whereas we have one part of town. I understand you could do with your own, you can police yourself, but then if nothing is being done to protect you from those who don't care, that's all my angle that I was coming from, meaning that there's no, understand,
You can't do it.
no consequences for a person coming out and wearing a mask, right? Even if your thought is to wear a mask, but if there's no consequence for that one who don't, then guess what? Then now you're still at a bit at risk. You are, and that's the thing. So it's like it has to be, and the people know it because they keep saying, they know it. He's saying, well, we don't want to do this to y'all. We don't want to go and enforce some type of martial law on you guys, on the community, on the citizens based on this. Well, guess what? Many people believe that that's what it's going to take. Do you realize this past weekend the numbers came out? Because I didn't realize that we see the numbers of people passing away and infected, and especially in passing away. Well, in Chicago, Illinois, 70% of the COVID cases are African American. That number was just finally released. People were reluctantly not wanting that number to get out because now another different variation of conspiracy theorists have been asking, what are the numbers in New York? And New York is not releasing those numbers. Well, why aren't you releasing the numbers? We want to, so that way the numbers help people because it helps people to understand, first of all, the areas which is most affected most. And if you think about it, like we mentioned the hood, and I always talk jokingly about my hood, as you guys said, because there's no shame in my game. I love my hood. But the thing is, I guarantee you, Hattie, you can get to an urgent care or physician, maybe 4 of them before I can get to one if I'm in my hood. Yeah. And that's one of the reasons that a lot of people haven't been or doesn't have the equal access to health care. And that's one of the things. And then you see it.
Jimmy, in some of those cases, because I read it, some of those cases, those people have already were sick and had bad health anyway. So, but you're right, healthcare. But guess what, Jimmy? We had a great president who made it and got it where the affordable health care so everybody can have it. And we, so for some reason, as a whole, said forget about that progress he made. We went and elected a guy that tried to reverse everything that this guy did and reverse it. And nobody's talking about it. We went and allowed, because we let them blind us about Hillary Rodham Clinton, which she bad too. But I just don't think we'd be in this position right now. We already know this guy said that this was a hoax. He said, man, that's old Chinese flu. That. Then he go, guess what he do on national TV? He go blame the prior administration. Well, we didn't have enough stuff in stockpile. Dude, they told you months ago, man. They told you months ago that they was having it. But they try to blame everybody. Always, y'all got to watch. Quit letting these people down your people all the time, and y'all just not saying nothing about it. Please. That's why I always take up for people. That's why I always take up for people that look like me. Yeah, they might be wrong, but I'm gonna get on them in private. But in public, I'm not gonna let nobody else take it. I'm just not. I wasn't built that way.
I'm looking at, of course, Herb says, well, Chicago, and I mentioned this fact about Chicago. Once again, 70% of the cases have been reported to be of African Americans. And Herb said, well, Chicago is a city full of African Americans. That's not true. Chicago is a pretty diverse melting pot, and actually, the last.
Hold up, the African Americans all on top of each other like this. They all on top of each other like this.
So, what do you think the Hispanics are in Chicago then? If the African Americans on top of each other, yes, they are.
Wait till they expand. Just like they delayed the African Americans, they're gonna come out with a Hispanic thing soon.
Well, the Hispanics, it's more Hispanics in Chicago than it is blacks. Okay.
Well, they just hadn't came out with that study yet. They got
But
one.
it came out with the study. The study said 70% are black.
How many? I said, what about the Hispanics? You mentioned Hispanics.
Hannah, it can't be more than 30%.
I just asked you a question. Have they came back out with the Hispanic thing yet?
It had to. I'm saying, yes, it had to. If 70% of blacks, not 70% of the blacks,
Well, usually they print it right next to each other.
It's not significant right now. I'm quite sure they did. Hannah, goodness gracious. What, you want me to go look it up for you? You can look it up yourself.
Jimmy, you can't tell half truths. You
What do you
got to
mean?
tell. Hey,
Hannah,
hold up. Have you ever been
70%.
in court? Have y'all ever noticed in court? Have y'all ever wondered why they tell you to tell the truth, the whole truth, and the nothing but the truth? You sit up here talking about the blacks, but then you said the Hispanics must be low. And my question is, what is the Hispanics? That's a legitimate question.
Hannah, listen, 70%. If 70% is this, that means the most that could be is 30%. No matter what, 70 plus 30 is 100%.
No.
That's what I'm telling you. If 70% is black, that means everybody else combined can't total the 30, maybe more than 30%.
So what it said? 70% reported.
70% of all cases in the city are black.
Reported cases.
Saying, I mean, Al, understand something. You said reported cases. Come on now.
I didn't see the Jimmy. When you bring up numbers to me, I'm gonna ask you about them. Man, be prepared.
70% of no matter what the number comes from. That means only 30% left. That's all I'm saying.
But if it's 70% reported,
70% report.
Okay.
Let's report.
That don't mean, hold up. That don't mean the unreported could be the unreported. Let's get all the facts. That's all I'm saying. Let's get all the data.
Who you haven't tested. If that's the case, what's the population of the United States who has COVID-19? Who's a positive right now?
I'm not bringing them stupid ass facts up. That don't matter to me. You know what I'm trying to do? Prevent the people from around me from getting it. I can't. Come on, man. I can't. Come on, man. Come on. I mean, you came up with the fact. All I'm telling you, I can ask you a question about it. This is America. This is not, Jimmy, this is not China. I can question it. Oh, if you don't have an answer, just say you don't have an answer for it. That's all. You don't have that answer.
I just said that a while ago.
Okay.
I said, I don't know what, I say, let's say it was. I say, let's say it wasn't. So that means you got two different cases.
Okay. That's why when you report something.
Understand, there's a lot of people, me knowing personally being close to Hispanics, there's a lot of Hispanics ain't going to go down there and volunteer for a test, especially with their president and his stance on the borders and on deporting them and all of the stuff they face with Chicago, with ISIS.
The point I'm trying to make.
With ICE, I'm sorry, over the past few months.
I'm good.
So they're not going to run down there in droves like we are.
Okay. All right.
But at the same time,
okay.
So guess what's more important? If you're gonna die, possibly die of it, or you're gonna possibly save your life and go down there and get deported. Some people say, hell, I'd rather keep this thing and die in America. That's charge versus consequence. And so that's the topic on that right there for that. Now, shift gears as promised earlier at the top of the show. The Hall of Fame class of 2020, Kobe Bryant, Tamika Catchings, Tim Duncan, Kevin Garnett, Kim Mulkey, Rudy Tomjanovich, Eddie Sutton, Patrick Baumann, Barbara Stevens. I think there's 9 people comprise this year's Hall of Fame class. And once again, this is another event that takes place normally in the fall, the Naismith Hall of Fame up in Massachusetts. Well, keep your eyes on this. Does this take place? You see, all the stuff, the dominoes will start. Just watch. Now, Kobe, this is going to be one of the most remembered Hall of Fames ever. Of course, anything happening to 2020 going to be remembered because of all the circumstance considered. But Kobe Bryant headlines this class. And so, you know, snot is going to be slung all over the place and tears going to be going to be here and there. Now, the question is, of course, at the top of the show, how do you mention you said it'd be far-fetched to find a class?
Three. A trio. I didn't say class. A trio.
Three. And I got the three, of course, Michael Jordan, David Robinson, John Stockton.
Ain't better than them three.
Michael Jordan, David Robinson, John Stockton.
Ain't better than them three.
Versus Kobe Bryant, Kevin Garnett, Tim Duncan. Now, there's no way that you can propel any one of those threes and say that it's totally an open and shut case that one of those is greater than the other.
My statement was, it's a difference between, I say you'd be hard pressed to find. That's what I said. If you want to rewind it, I said be hard pressed to find a trio to match the accomplishments of these guys. First of all, one of the guys you're talking to don't have a ring to save his life.
No,
because you're always talking about rings. John Stockton ain't got a ring. Ain't got a ring to save his life.
So don't not him not having a ring. It's going to erase everything off the chalkboard.
I didn't say I'm erasing. Don't you always talk about rings?
How many of those? How far of the gap from Michael Jordan to any one of those other three from this year's class? How far of the gap is MJ ahead of that? So for all of the ground that you think
give me them names again. Give me your names. Stockton,
David Robinson, and MJ.
MJ.
Yes.
How far is Mike ahead of who? The other three? Michael got 6 rings. Kobe got 5. No.
Counting the ring. I wasn't counting the rings.
You know what, man? I can't stand y'all. You know why? Because it kills me when y'all come and always talking about rings.
The rings is the ultimate tiebreaker. If it's a close race, then that's when you go whoever got the win.
And it ain't close. You're making me, it's not even close. Now you're making me thinking about it. It's not even close. Not close.
It's not close. Kobe Bryant is not close to Michael Jordan. That's what I'm trying. He's the leader of this year's class. It's not close. It's not close.
Help me if it's not close. Give me some. I ask you. See, you know what? You know what, man? If you're gonna sit up here and make a statement, you got to be able to back your statement. I just asked you, tell me where Michael just beat the stuffings out of Kobe. I'm listening. Because the rings are 5 to 6. Show me.
If you're taking the totality of the rings.
Well, forget the rings. What other thing you want? Give me another category you want. Give me another.
Scoring. That would be in basketball the most common denominator.
Kobe right there with him. Keep going.
You say right there with him. What's Kobe's?
I don't know his numbers. He right there with him. I'm not going to. I don't know his numbers. He right there with him. You got to give me something better than that.
Oh man, come on.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Field goals made.
I'm just gonna let you talk. I ain't gonna even comment on this.
Assist.
I'm gonna let somebody else talk to you. Cause every time I said something, somebody said, I need to calm down. If y'all keep listening to this mess over here, it'll get to y'all too.
Field goal percentage. That's 4 categories. Well, now that's 6 categories. So I'm listening to you. You can go and
I ain't saying nothing.
You just told me to name your. I'm
not okay.
I named you 6 categories.
Okay, I'm gonna let you. Okay, you won. Okay, all right. Okay.
6 categories.
Okay, you win. You won. Okay. You won.
So that you have in regard to the Hall of Fame.
I'm not going to get in the middle of that one.
Versus 2009. Once again, the 2009 class, it only had 5 people in it. as opposed to the 9. And this year's class, of course, once again, is going to be one of the most memorable. How about Rudy T finally gets in there after leading, his claim to fame was leading the Rockets, not only being the recipient of that infamous blow to the face by Kermit Washington back when he was a Houston Rocket, and then later on to lead the Rockets to back-to-back championships in the early to mid 90s. So it's good to see Rudy T amongst this class, not wait until like they did with Guy V. Lewis and wait until he passed away or was right there before he get on the deathbed, before he got his accolades. So glad to see Rudy T get that, man. That's cool. Tamika Catchings says she was surprised that she's only the second University of Tennessee affiliated player to be selected to the Hall of Fame. How you guys feel about that and Tamika Catchings? And that's Texas bred right there. And glad to see her in there. Kim Mulkey, glad to see Kim on there. How about that? And Kim Mulkey has gotten her due and being named. I mean,
she used to be pretty good.
Yeah, she had the 2 ponytails down her back.
I remember.
And, had a girl from Houston Austin High School named Deborah Williams. Deborah Williams went to Louisiana Tech back in the day. Louisiana Tech, I mean, that might have been, I didn't watch much girls basketball on TV back then. But Louisiana Tech would add a little spurt. They were
always on TV.
They were, I guess the colors, because their colors were the same as the Houston Oilers. So that color scheme at Louisiana Tech, I guess, was attractive to a Houstonian. And not to mention the fact that being born in Shreveport, and mom went to Grambling, and Louisiana Tech is right there in Ruston, right across the railroad track. So that's guess that might have had something to do with it as far as myself. But yeah, this is definitely Eddie Sutton. How about that?
It took a long time for him. He almost
just like
dead.
Think about it, guy. Look, why do you think they was holding him back? What do you think was holding them back on Eddie all this time?
I guess all that cheating he was doing.
That's the same thing they said about Guy Lewis.
Yeah.
So people would get offended if you say that about Eddie, but then they don't want you to get offended when they did say it about Guy Lewis.
Well, hey, guess what? There's a lot of these new coaches don't need to think about being if cheating is the criteria, a lot of these new coaches shouldn't even think about it. Shouldn't even think. But you know what, Jimmy? I'm a flip flop. What else you got on this? Because there's some crazy stuff happening in the news over this weekend, man. And I just can't wait to Wednesday. It's a women topic, but it can't wait to Wednesday. But whenever you finish, I got to talk about the stuff that happened with Floyd Mayweather's daughter. I got to.
Another thing that I want to bring up is give you guys, this is that time of the year. And the NBA draft is still in limbo because they're going to probably push the date because the draft is not going to take place. However, the date to declare for the draft is already in motion. And right now there's about 80 players who've declared for the NBA draft. About 80, right? Now, on these 80, Adam, these are all, that doesn't count the seniors.
Yeah, the seniors already. Just people. I put the AAC up there. I put the AAC up there right now.
And that's the American Conference.
Yeah.
Not to be confused with the ACC. And you notice you had a couple of Houstonians in that conference. That's a conference with Houston affiliated or Texas affiliated players. Mm-hmm. And Nate Hinton plays for U of H. Mm-hmm. And Nate Hinton has tapped his toe into the water. Kendrick Davis and Ferron Hunt. Hunt is out of out of Dallas. And both guys of SMU. And they have tap their feet into the water. You only get one time to put your name in the draft. Isn't that correct? Is that correct?
It don't matter.
No, I'm saying, isn't there a limit to how many times you can put
I
your
don't
name
think it's
in?
a limit. I don't think it's a limit. I've never heard of that. That's one of
If
some.
I'm not mistaken,
I've never heard of that.
if I'm not mistaken, last year, because last year when Quentin Grimes did it, I thought I read that you only get. I thought I read that you only get one chance to do it nowadays, and if he did it was to do it again, he wouldn't be able to come back. So, in other words, you'd be wasting their time.
A lot of these guys are testing the waters too, Jimmy, and I don't understand why they are in this climate. This is just not the year to do it. But I guess they want. Guess what it's doing though. There's a lot of guys on this list. A lot of people on this. Yes, it ain't a limit anymore. Thank you, Stacy. I don't like to comment on things that I'm not sure about. The AAC, Keith Williams from Cincinnati, Nate, James Wiseman, Farron Hunt, David Collins, and Dexter Dennis. These guys, I mean, you know, it's just I don't understand it. I mean, but I'm not with them. I don't know them. A lot of these kids I do not know. But let's go to the next conference, the ACC, which is supposed to be NBA-laden conference. The ACC, that's where Michael Jordan came from. You got Amir Sims, Trey Jones, Devin Vassell, Patrick Williams, Devin Daniels, DJ Funderburk, Elijah Hughes. Those are not household names. And you got freshmen, sophomore, freshman, junior, redshirt junior, redshirt junior. And Jimmy, and let me tell you something. Just, I think a lot of these guys just doing it. I think it's because they can. Man, I can put and they talking about the draft is weak. Yeah, but the draft is weak, but that don't mean y'all, it's some people overseas can play too now. But Jimmy, I'm talking about, and Stacy, I'm talking about the limited time that first of all, NBA teams are not even in business. A limited time that they're going to have this seat. Ain't going to be no Chicago draft camp. Ain't going to be no Portsmouth. You know what I'm saying? Where the seniors can get a chance to show. This is just I don't know, and it might work out for them. I don't know. But this is a very, very weird climate. But guess what? They got their names out there. Okay, let's go to the Atlantic 10, Jimmy. You can announce them. They're up on the screen.
On the Atlantic 10.
Yeah, nobody we really know.
Nobody's from
Houston area. Okay.
In the A10, but you look at the schools. Pay attention to the schools now.
Okay.
And Dayton has 2, Rhode Island 1, Richmond has 3, St. Louis has 3, and of course VCU has 1. And the 3 from St. Louis has 2, St. Joseph's has 1.
Okay.
Ironically, the 2 and the 3 from Richmond, you have 2 juniors and 3 juniors. Hey. All of those guys are juniors.
Jimmy, you know what I need to do? Let me go back. Stacy, I'm going to add to it, Jimmy. Like on this list, Stacy, I'll start here. There's 80 of them, right, Jimmy? Did you count them? 80?
I didn't count them, but that's what was sent to me.
On this list, just me, I'm serious, Stacy, because I know it's been a backlog. But me talking to the NBA guys, I'm just going on the people that they told. Well, Obi Toppin is the only one off of this list that I'm trying to see. I might have enough that might get drafted. Y'all got to realize it's not but 60 guys gonna get drafted, and we got a couple guys overseas, maybe more. That's pretty good. So on this list, I would say Obi, and let's go back to this list. That first list I went to. Hold on, let me get. I'm sorry. Let me get back out of that. That first list I went to, James Wiseman, only one I think getting drafted off that list. This list right here, one of these guys from, I don't know which one, I think Devin Vassell, the guard from Florida State, the sophomore. I've heard his name. Trey Jones might get drafted out of Duke. He might. I'm not sure, but his name, he got good pedigree in his name. Let me go to this list. The A10. Oh, I just left that list. I think, did I go to the ACC? Oh, yeah. Okay. Okay, let me get out of there. Okay, let's go to the Big East, Jimmy. It's just, I'm just going by, because I don't draft people, but they tell me who they've been looking at. For some reason, I'd have heard this Paul Reed guy they've been talking about. I don't know if he's going to get drafted or not. This Jeremiah Robinson Earl, he comes with pedigree because he was a McDonald All-American. I don't know if it's a bad draft. He might slip in. We said drafted. I'm talking about in both rounds. That's all I would just say gonna get drafted. And hold up, and I might be wrong. I'm not sure. I'm just looking at names. Now, Jimmy, we in this is the Big Ten, Jimmy. Michigan, a kid in Michigan. I haven't heard no. The guy from Minnesota, they've been talking about him a little bit. Talking about getting drafted. Now, some of these guys might go to the G League now. Some of these guys might not want to go back to school.
Is that the plan?
Huh?
No, that's the plan.
Yeah, Jimmy, that's the only plan you can have, Jimmy. That NBA ain't hey, Jimmy, that NBA is a faraway dream than people would ever believe. Let's go to the big. Who I go? Let's go.
Hold on. Stop in that big in the Big Ten.
Big Ten. Okay, my bad. All right.
Because there is a player with a Houston was from Texas amongst them, and that's Cam.
See, I don't know him. I don't know him.
And so Cam Mack, remember, he went to SFA. Mm-hmm. Then he went to a junior college.
Okay.
Then get to Nebraska. Got suspended this year.
Okay.
Right. And I think he's also put his name in the portal as well. Mm-hmm. He along with J.J. Caldwell over at New Mexico. Mm-hmm. And so Cam Mack, it's one hell of a journey, man. This is, now he's testing the waters.
Well, I wish the world for him. I wish
with a buggy full of baggage.
But guess what, Jimmy? Sometimes them baggage guys be the best players. Are you finished with this one? Can I go somewhere else to the Big 12?
Big 12.
Okay.
Only two.
This is a smart kid. The Big 12.
Why only two?
What'd you say? Why?
One of the top two basketball conferences in the country. Mm-hmm. Only two.
Yeah.
That don't mean it's going to be more. It's going to be more.
Yeah, because it's not over with yet.
But only two.
Yeah. But Jimmy, think about this. It's 80 spots, right? There's 80 guys right here. We're not talking about seniors now. And we're not talking about overseas guys. These guys just put their name. These underclassmen we're talking about right now, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just a class.
And Herb Baker said the kid also attended 5 high school. The kid you was talking about.
Cam Mack. Yeah. I mean, and you can see, so this is what sometimes when people say, and a lot of times like grassroots basketball, coaches take the heat. But if you understand, the reason that a lot of times you get the heat because of the influence of changing. A lot of times when a kid change a high school, there's somebody that's outside, either with their affiliated with them and has a influence on them what summer or grassroots team that kid may play with, that has influenced that kid to go to another high school. So that's why a lot of the heat comes backwards to grassroots. The high school coach ain't telling the kid, is rarely, I can count them on one hand, in the past 20 years, the high school coaches of a top shelf player that had to influence for that kid, far as what his high school, what summer grassroots team that kid was going to play for. First one comes to mind way back in the trap when I first started was Kendrick Perkins with Andre Boutte. Andre Boutte was his high school coach, but he was in charge and had the most influence on Kendrick Perkins at that time as far as what he played at. Remember, Kendrick Perkins didn't even play, but only 3 events his last summer. 3 events the last summer. One of them was that time at Clear Lake at John Urie's tournament at Clear Lake when KP joined Leon Poe and LeBron James with the Oakland Soldiers. And people see the video footages and make it seem like KP played the whole summer with those guys. No, he didn't. He played 1 event with those guys, and they still didn't win the tournament, believe it or not. They still did not win the tournament that year. Now, Kendrick Perkins also played in the ABCD, and I forgot he played in one other event. Didn't play. Because at that time, Beaumont Ozan had got a Nike Adidas deal package, and the people, the powers that be in Adidas did not want KP to be advertising and flaunting his talent. That back then, understand, ABCD and All-American camp from Nike, they was like this. It was like this. It wasn't like one was way better than the other. It was some years Adidas camp, ABCD was better. Some people may have said it was better, and it could have been right. Some people may have said All-American camp was better. Could have been right. But that's one. And I'm trying to think, in today's society, that was a whole different time then. What high school coach is in control of where their star player is playing? We're talking about sneaker ball right now. We ain't talking about no regular John Doe. Can you think of one, Haller, in recent years where the high school coach was in total command? Now, there's been some. I'm just talking
I don't really keep up with it that much, Jimmy. I mean, but that's an interesting topic. So why we talking about that? What happened? Something happened?
We're just talking about, because we mentioned one of the young men, Cam Mack, and his journeys, how he played.
How he went to school.
Various summer teams and all that stuff.
Did you want to finish that? Did you want to finish this? Because
we'll
finish that one.
Hold on. Put that back. The Mountain West.
Oh, Derek Austin, Jimmy.
Yes, that's another Texas kid. Mm-hmm. And he's a junior, rightfully so. I don't think he's coming back.
No, they like him, Jim.
I don't think he's coming back. Now, what they like about him?
He's long and can play multiple positions. Long, I mean, 6'9", and they say, I mean, he can handle the ball, can play. He might have a chance. He might, he'll be in the G League at some point. Now he's not a program changer, but he got the measurables to be a pro. Got the measurables. They've been talking about it. And it's Tyrese Halliburton. I haven't seen much of him, but I've heard his name a lot. I heard his name a whole lot, matter of fact. So we out of the Big 12. Let's go to Pac-12. Let's get this thing. Pac-12, ain't nobody from this area, is it?
One that's going up. That's probably not.
Isaiah Stewart ain't coming back.
He's not.
He already signed with He was already signed with an agent probably while he was at school.
And of course, and this is the Pac-12 and the underclassmen who have, as of last night, who have declared for the NBA draft. Now, check out. Remember now, it's Pac-12. That's 7 players.
Uh-huh.
Now, as we go to the next conference, watch the explosion of names.
Look at that, y'all. I couldn't put them almost on. Everybody in the SEC think they're pro.
The SEC.
Everybody think they're pro.
How about Alabama has 3? Right? Kentucky 2. Missouri has 3. Right?
Right.
Vanderbilt 2. Georgia 2. Now, man, so Alabama.
Hey, Herb said Halliburton is a bust waiting to happen. Herb, I'm just telling you what they telling me. And guess what? It's been a lot of busts. It's been a lot of busts. His name keep popping up, so somebody gonna draft him.
Who that?
Halliburton. Herb was talking
from
about
Iowa State. It's the Iowa State.
Yeah. But no, we talking about this guy. Somebody said dude named Remy Martin. Yeah, Remy Martin. You know what he drank, Jim.
I mean, remember Remy. We had Remy Minor at Bush High School. I used to confuse his name. I used to always call him Remy Martin because this little kid, Remy Martin, was a guard. I used to see him on the circuit a lot.
That's a brown liquor, Jimmy.
I mean, if he can find a way to make it, and he can somehow make it there, that's a sponsorship waiting on him. If he can make it and be able to play.
I bet you his mom and them named him after Remy Martin. I bet you, because she named. Guess what? It's spelled right. It just don't have the apostrophe behind it, but it's spelled right.
And also, they laughing at the dude's name. Also, coming up next, we got the American East, and
I didn't put them on the screen.
There's only two from that. Moving forward, there's no of the remaining conferences in alphabetical order. There's no, I don't see any more with a Texas-based player. Now, here's the thing that I wanted to get your thoughts on from you guys, and that is, there's also one high school. And sometimes you would think that the dad, having navigated through those waters, would know. But Kenyon Martin Jr. has put his name in the draft, and he's not going to college. Yes, that's the son of Kenyon Martin, former Cincinnati star, played in the league a few years. Kenyon Martin, good people, good cat. But Kenyon Martin sit there and watched his son play on the grassroots sneaker circuit. He watched his son play alongside star-studded high school teams and go through all this stuff. And somehow Kenyon Martin Sr. is led to believe that his connections is going to be greater than with his son. It's going to work out all right. Now, mind you, I'm gonna say how to say this. Either the college degrees mean something, or going to continue to mean something, or they're not.
College degrees always mean something, Jimmy. Gonna always mean something. But some of these guys, basketball is their vocation. Some of these guys, they going to school. The only reason they will go to college is because they have to go to college. Some of these guys just want to play basketball for a living. They're not good enough, but some of them think they are. Somebody done told each one of these 80, maybe ain't nobody told them. These 80 think they're going, and guess what, Jimmy? It's a couple of more 80 going to be added to this 80. You already said that earlier. It's just, man, this, I'm just watching it, Jimmy. I'm watching it with bated breath. Because I see, and I know a couple of these guys planning on, man, I don't want to go to school. And I hate to say this because I'm an academic, supporter of academics, but some of these guys just don't. Basketball is all they want to do. They don't have a plan B and a C and a D. They got basketball or bust. Basketball or Home Depot. Basketball or home. That's all they got, Jim. And just because Kmart then went through this thing, don't mean Kmart ain't always made the most sound decisions in his career, Jimmy. Jimmy, I always tell you, to know a man, look at his history. Look at the history. Sometimes blind can lead the blind. That's why I tell everybody, get qualified people around you. And I know it's hard. Just make sure. And the only way you can know if he's qualified is go and see have he did something before. What have he done? Look at his history. Because guess what? When you go to one of these NBA teams, they're going to look at your history. And let me repeat that. Wherever you go in life, your resume is your history. You might fake it, you might cheat on it, or that's your history. So what I would say, but you got to realize, if they could look at the mindset, America, mamas and daddies, everybody that goes to the Power 7, think they going to the league. I used to didn't believe that, but I found out, Jimmy, it did. They do. Everybody that goes Power 7, Jimmy, they think they can go to the league. Jimmy, you got a kid at U of H right now, Nate Henry. Good little player. But did you ever consider him a pro? He do.
Who, Nate?
Yeah.
No, remember though. Remember we talked at one of the games.
Yeah.
And I said I could see down the stretch. If you guys had the luxury of being able to watch University of Houston play, and you could see certain things. I'm not talking about. I wasn't measuring him for no pro. I wasn't evaluating him for that. But I was watching him in the confines of his role. And I was watching him run the show, meaning that he wanted to bring the ball down too badly. That means he was auditioning, right? Because in that conference, they get a fair share of NBA scouts in the AAC. You know, rightfully so. You're talking about U of H, Memphis, SMU, UConn, and Wichita State. Those guys, just name a few. So that conference is very respected, has emerged rapidly. Remember, used to have Louisville in that conference, right? Just a couple of years ago. And so I watched him, and I said, Heather, this dude trying to get. And guess what? Could it be U of H might don't mind if he gone based on the log jam that they look like they appear to have at the guard spot, based on the fact that if Quentin Grimes comes back and you got Tremont Mark coming in and you want to get him some burn in some form of fashion that could be attractive enough to the next guy that's a recruit to say, my time coming up, and a much improved Cedric Alley,
I mean, they're going to have enough players to win. You got to have players to win now. See, what people don't understand, the freshmen, Jimmy, I know y'all think y'all good, but all y'all not going to play, son. Jimmy, that's what people talking about log jam. They might think they going to play.
Tell them that.
Jimmy, back to what I'm saying. So if you think the freshman, okay, check this mindset out. So if you think the freshmen come to a college, like a Power 7 school, expect to pop out and play all of the minutes, the guys that's playing there, they think they gonna be in the league then. So every guy on U of H team, I bet you every last one of them, Chris Harris think he can go to the league. Especially being around John Urey. Jimmy, basketball, Chris Walker says it best. Basketball players are terrible mathematicians. They don't look at the numbers. And I'm not telling you not to go, you put your name in the draft, son. No, put your name in the draft all you want to. But leave that door open to be able to come back and get your education, son. Because guess what? To be one of those top 60 and the way them guys overseas playing, and hold up, Jim, check this out. The rise of the Lucas of the world, the Giannis Antetokounmpo of the world, Jimmy Hicks. These overseas guys gonna get a better look now. You follow me? You know this NBA is a copycat league. I'm trying to find the next Luka. I'm trying to find the next a Greek freak. So I'm just telling players over here, You got them guys playing and practicing 6 to 8 hours a day. You get your 2 hours in over here and you had to go to school. They don't have to go to school. Man, let me tell you something. I'm going to put it like this, Jimmy. I'm going to make it plain. This is a global game. When you matching yourself up against players, don't just match up yourself against these guys playing over here. You got to match yourself up against guys like Luka, who everybody talking about wasn't that good. And I said, man, all right now. Them guys tell me he's good. Everybody telling me, Rob, they ain't seen nothing like it. And people mad at me because I was saying he was going to outdo Trae Young. I said, dude, it ain't that. I'm just telling you, I heard this dude when Trae came back at him. Now, don't get it twisted. But I just want y'all to just look at this thing. It's okay to want to go in this NBA, but man, the spots are limited. It ain't but 60 spots. And Jimmy, while we're there on the NBA, while we're there, Jimmy, it's a lot of free agents this year, Jimmy. Thought they was going to cash in. Jimmy, they better opt into these contracts they got. Because guess what? That salary cap ain't moving after all of this waggling. It's going to be some economic replication. I just made a word up. For next year, Jimmy. We got two teams, right? That's owners are in the hospitality business. Timothy Fertitta, he got his money from the hospitality. All hospitality is shut down. Mickey Arison, the Miami Heat, the cruise ship guy, they're shut down. Jimmy, guess what owner increased his wealth in this thing?
Of the NBA owners?
Yeah, NBA owners. I'm going to help you. Joey Tsai, whatever it's Ty, the one who owns the Brooklyn, just brought the Brooklyn team.
Yeah.
Jimmy, he did some over in the Hong Kong market that sent his wealth. He already was wealthy. That sent his wealth skyrocketing over in the Hong Kong market. So it's just, yeah, I messed up, Otha. I got tongue twisted there. But ramifications. But it's gonna be some Jimmy. It's gonna be a different next year, Jimmy. I mean, in this draft, Jimmy? They're not gonna be able to come visit the teams.
So that means more people who are marginal may feel that's to their advantage.
No, they're gonna go with the ones who they know.
I'm talking about on the player side.
They're gonna go with the players that they know.
But understand. Mm-hmm. So that means you understand. A lot of it's like when you schedule these events. Uh-huh. When they have the Portsmouth. Is it Portsmouth?
Portsmouth, yeah.
Portsmouth, the one that's in Virginia.
Yeah.
Right? Then you have the one in Chicago, the main one. Well, the thing is this. A lot of times, your already projected lotto guys ain't trying to play with those stakes on the line possibly against an up-and-comer. In other words, James Wiseman ain't trying to play against, Anthony Edwards ain't trying to play against Nate Hinton, whatever his name is right now, in a warm-up, if you could. He's not trying to play against him.
Ain't gonna happen.
You see? So that means for a Nate Hinton, you don't have the opportunity now to play yourself up.
That's what I just said.
So that means the sale must be something else. The sale must be, this is what I did in my, for my team just took a couple of months ago. Check out this footage. Check out this film. It's just the same. It's going to work in a similar fashion. While a lot of these high school prospects, there's no grassroots film or games for the Division I coaches to see in April, right? So that means if you got a kid that got some good film from this high school season, that's all you got to fish out there, right?
Jimmy, the unique thing about the NBA is that their scouts been out there the whole year watching virtually the whole season. The only thing that the NBA scouts didn't see is the postseason. They've been overseas. They've been everywhere. So they already know it's going to hurt the guys who had a chance to go to Chicago and prove themselves, not against James Wiseman, because they're not going to play, against the other guys that's of their, similar talent. That's where it's gonna hurt. They just they're not gonna be able to be seen. Jimmy, they're not gonna even be able to have private workouts. Yeah, but hey, and thank you, Stacy. Jimmy don't understand that though, part I think. He said some agents has told a kid that he could get drafted or they could get a two-way. So these guys going, hey, if they don't get drafted, I can get you a two-way, because guess what? It's I think it's 2 extra spots on a team every year now. So that 60 really turned to a little bit. So you might have some two-way action around here.
Okay.
All I can tell y'all though, that G League gonna be some fire, huh?
It is okay.
But Jimmy. See, you keep talking about that ain't the what you said, that ain't the plan. Jimmy, in basketball, you can't always follow the plan. The plan don't always work like you want it to work. You think it's, man, just cause, hold up. So if a guy shoots for the NBA and falls to the G League and be on a two-way, that's at least he got some money. Instead of going overseas and play for $50,000, he can play over here for $75,000. Then every time he get brought up, his salary get prorated up into 45 days.
Now, once again, how many of those is how many of those?
It's 2 of them per team.
That's basically 60
extra spots.
Yeah. And you can be one of those for what? You get like what, 2 years or something?
Yeah, 2 years. Yeah.
Right? So that means, let's say on the average, one of the two, let's just say for safe math, one of the two is eligible for next year that they already own one of those two ways, right? Mm-hmm. So that means, let's say it's approximately 30 spots for those two ways, right? So here's the thing. We're entering a season going into 2021, whereas the name, image, and likeness is about on the cusp of being activated and approved to some uniform.
So you saying stay in the college and get you $20,000?
That same low bread
to get you $10. That ain't Jimmy. Some two-way deals. You didn't hear what I said. Yeah, $75,000 is the minimum. Up in the 45 days in the league, you prorate if you were in the league for them 45 days, you can you can make up to almost $400,000.
Okay, so
it's according to how many days they bring you up.
Bookmark today. And we're going to count this draft. And we're going to use this.
This is not a good draft, man. This is not a good draft.
No. We don't do that now. No, hell no. We're going to use this draft after it's over with, and we're going to go back and see once the season starts in the fall or Christmas or whenever they're going to start the NBA season, and we're going to see how many of these guys get assigned to two ways. Because that means if not everybody,
Jimmy, I'm trying to, Jimmy, wait a minute. What would you have them do? Because it's damn if they do, damn if they don't with you. What would you have these players do? They spend all their life to play basketball, and their dream is to play basketball. what would you have them do?
In dealing with all types of basketball kids, and you and yourself have seen all types of basketball players from different backgrounds and stuff. The thing is this: everybody situation is different, and some people have a family, dog, cat, mouse, and the rat that goes with it, and have been raised and prepared at a greater clip than the next guy. There's others, that may have been the other young men that may have came up and got it out of the mud all their lives. But then for that one kid that doesn't have the father at home, that died, understand you're trying to play to get your mom or your family out of poverty or rise them economically. If education is in your family, then it's twofold. Then that means you part of you gonna already have been raised to feel that that's my obligation to at least get much as I can of it, and then I can come on back and get the rest. Yes, you can come back and get the rest and buy the rest later. I'm not talking about a lotto. I'm not talking about a first round. I'm talking about the guys that ain't on the board that are going and testing the water. And a lot of those guys, believe it or not, some of them are just doing it just for the experience. But there's really no experience to get out of this one because you don't get the total formality as you would on a normal year. But then some people doing it for attention. Some people going to get burnt by it and just put the name out there, and guess what? And now the coach see where your mind is at, and you're going to get.
My question is, what would you have them do? What would you have them do?
It's based on the economic and the backup and
of the individual.
Most
guys in this game. I thought we already established this fact that most guys in this game. I'm gonna try to use my inside voice for the rest of the day. Most guys in this game, they're not well off. Most of them. Okay? Most of them. Would you say that? Most guys that play college basketball, most of them are not well off. They looking for this thing to change their families' lives. A lot of guys are. I mean, do you agree or do you not?
But no, most are not well off. But I'm talking about now well off.
So what would you have them do? I know you already know what I have them do.
When I say well off, I mean like rich versus not being versus poverty stricken. I meant, as I said, I said it's twofold. You have the family, no matter what the economic status is. You have the one family that has its education has been a priority in their family. Mm-hmm. You have some who education don't have the same value in the household. That's why I say depending on what the status is. There are some people saying, okay, you're going to go and get there. Now it becomes obvious, like this kid at Boise State. Mm-hmm. Perfect example. Well, not the perfect example, but an example. The kid, Derek Austin, who's from Strake Jesuit High School. Mm-hmm. Well, let me say this again, in case you guys aren't familiar with the demographics of Houston. Mm-hmm. Strake Jesuit High School is a Catholic school that's one of only two non-public high schools in the state of Texas that are permitted to play alongside the public schools in the UIL. Houston Strake Jesuit and Dallas Jesuit are the two. For you to go to Strake Jesuit, of course they have scholarships for some players in different various sports. Yes, they do have a different type of academic financial aid, you would call it. Well, otherwise, for most, it costs about $25,000 a year to attend Strake Jesuit. You going to Strake Jesuit, I remember you had Rashid Suleiman played alongside your son. And I remember hearing stories from Rashid and Aaron Harrison from about his sons, because his sons went there for 1 year, Strake Jesuit, about the academic workload and how long it take to get through your homework on the average night for the average, above average student. That stuff ain't no joke. My point is, so for a person that's going through that, mm-hmm. you would think that you went through that angle.
You think, he would finish But Jimmy,
Well, unless you Derek Austin, and you see now like Derek Austin, that I say is a perfect example for the betterment, not for the whole concept of the poster child, because Derek Austin is the way it sounds.
you got a chance.
He's probably, unless something based on the fact that he can't do a whole lot of workouts in person, that he probably good for the first round right now.
Yeah.
You see?
I haven't looked at enough mock drafts yet, but because it's so I hate to look at them. I'll be waiting on my correct mock draft, and my correct one hadn't came out yet. It's my secret draft. But when it comes out, I'll talk a little bit more about it. But that's a good. So you're saying a guy who have went through those strenuous. That's a good point. I didn't think about that. Those strenuous academic requirements at a young age, and you get so close to graduating from a university, and you decide, because guess what? I don't know what happened, man, at NBA. Let me tell you something. You go to Jimmy. When I sent my son to school, we sent our sons to school to go to get an education so he can make him some money. Okay? So guess what? Derek is going to school, but it's another opportunity happened. He wasn't projected to be a lottery pick or NBA player yet. So now the facts changed. He went to school, Boise State, but the fact changed, he got better. And now Millionaires Row is calling him. He got to go. He got to go.
I'm not mad at him. That's
he
what I'm saying.
Go.
He's the perfect poster for understanding. Now he took it, but at the same time, as I just mentioned to Trey, the kid like him, that's why I say he's a perfect poster child, because he redshirted 1 year. So he's
he probably got his degree then.
You on mute.
Oh.
Yeah, you good. You good.
Oh, he probably got his degree then.
He probably right there at the back door. So that's what I mean. So that's why I say he's a perfect.
Well, let's not talk about him. He's a unicorn. We ain't too many like him.
I'm saying, but so academically, he's going to get the best of both worlds. He's right there, even in the quest. I mean, you're in control of it. There are some guys out there that ain't nowhere near close to getting that degree.
And guess what? They don't want to get their degree.
I understand that, but that's the whole. I understand that. True that. But the person that has the influence on you, I understand this. They put like this. The person that has the influence can double down and knowing that you're creating a plan B up under him. Like I remember I used to say some players will go and they can take online classes, they can do it right up. But if you already just some kids ain't even on the they made a blip on the screen and they're not going to go back.
Okay, so that's the problem you have. Is that like Jimmy, as many basketball play that I watch and many guys I talk to about basketball, I saw a lot of names that ain't no scout, no GM, nobody that ever mentioned it to me ever. Like somebody said, man, why come out if your name is not popping? I like that one. But guess what? Their name is popping today on our show because there's some guys that y'all never even heard of was talked about today on this show because they put their name. And Jimmy, maybe that's what some of them guys are trying to achieve. Man, at least they talking about me. They gonna talk, and then hold up. When he put his name back, take his name back out. Like the key thing is when they said, like Isaiah Stewart said, I'm already signed. Hold up. The young man out of junior college, he said, I'm signing with A's. I'm gone. See, y'all even got a dude out of junior college. See, you didn't get down to the junior college, did you, Jimmy?
No, I ain't get down there.
Yeah.
The player of the year, he gone.
Yeah, he gone. And guess what, Jimmy? He's a killer. I heard. So let me tell you something, man. Hey, go for it. This might Jimmy, these guys, let me tell you something. Y'all always talking this stuff, man. Talking about these kids. Y'all don't understand the mentality of these kids. These kids like making these announcements. Do you see these long, nice announcements? Take you to the university. And I got to find one to read one. Somebody send me, somebody post one. Take you to the university. But I'm going to go, no. Jimmy, what's your favorite thing? I'm blessed to have an offer here. I'm blessed to have an offer here. I'm blessed. So, Jimmy, some of these people just like to see their name. Jimmy, come on, man. Some of them. But they're going to get a rude awakening. But keep going.
Yeah. And you know, of course, Trey says, remember his dad played in the NBA as well, coaching the G League. So he has a good inside track on where his son is mentioned.
Who said that?
Trey Phillips.
Said who?
I think he's talking about Austin.
Okay.
And so.
But we ain't talking about Austin. Austin gonna be all right. I already said he gonna be.
Definitely.
It's the other guys we talking about.
I mean, you know, it's just that
Jimmy, everybody can't play in the NBA. Everybody can't play overseas. Everybody can't play in the G League. Jimmy, we're gonna have to invent some more league. Jimmy, you can't go to China. China messed. It's messed up.
So here's what that means. That means in pursuit of your dream. Mm-hmm. Here's what they don't teach you in the world to just when everybody out here just watching has a dream or had a dream,
right?
A vision for your future. You had one. Some of you have one still and have changed the objective over the course of the year.
Yeah.
But in doing so, how many of you actually said, you know what? You get to a certain point. Some of you probably have to say, you know what? I'm at this point right now. I'm gonna quit my day job. I'm going after my dream. No, think about what would happen if you quit that day job. That's your stability. To go and pursue that. And you use the same equation, the A plus B equals C that people using for some of these basketball kids. But man, you don't want to. Somebody can chase their dream. They're young. Okay, that same 28, 23-year-old. Let's say he's a 26-year-old, and you're going to quit your job, right, to pursue your dream. Now, I do know Marcus Sloan did it. I remember his dad calling me saying, man, can you talk some sense to my own son? It's Dad Lee. Rest in soul. Guess what? See, Marcus Sloan, he probably don't remember. He remembers he watching. He was at TCU, got his degree. Mm-hmm. And you got to realize now, it kind of probably grab you some kind of way if you played with all these guys, and these guys are, summer basketball with Daniel Young and TJ, and you watching these guys. But you still, at the time, Sloan was the all-time leading rebounder in TCU history. Okay. So rebounder or shot blocker, one of the two. Okay. So guess what they do? TCU, everybody has a signature booster or company behind them. Every major school in the Big 12 or in every state has a corporation, talking about your Power Fives, somebody behind them, right? Like you think about Arkansas, you think about what? The Walmart. You think about Oklahoma State, you think about who?
T-Bone Pickens.
So TCU, their main at the time was Frito-Lay. PepsiCo. Pepsi owned Frito-Lay.
Okay.
Right?
I like that.
They gave Marcus Sloan a job working for Frito-Lay, paying him about 80 grand. This nigga quit the job. He probably gonna tell that story. So I quit the job. So I'm gonna go play overseas, man.
Let me help Keith.
It worked out for him.
Let me help Keith. Keith, let me tell you something. If you've been watching this show, if you know anything about me, he said, tell Hatter that kids need to fall back once basketball. I understand that more than anybody. I got to give you what I'm talking to these young kids because I talk to them a lot. And their vocation is basketball. You can tell, like Jimmy, what you said a minute ago when we started the show about you can tell people what to do out here about these masks and all. People gonna do what the hell they want to do. Now Keith Benton, it's all the statistical data out there, how the advantages of how a guy who have an education, how much he make versus a guy who don't. Okay? Just helping you. Just in case you didn't know me. You know, but I know for a fact some kids out here just don't want to go to school. So what you gonna do? Jimmy, you gonna do like Galena Park? You gonna make them go to school? Keep Benton? You gonna lock them up at the university and make them go to school? See, that's what you don't understand. Everybody got a free will. Like people say, man, I ain't thinking about this stuff, man, this coronavirus. I don't care if I die. That's his free will. What we have to do, Keith Benton, is groom our young men and women to understand the value of an education early. I'm talking about the guys who done got up here and they telling me, Robert, I'm going to school to play basketball. And notice I said groom them, not make them, groom them and show them the importance of an education. Some of these guys think it's important to play basketball. That's the only thing. They spend more time playing basketball than they do studying. I had a son that spent more time studying than he did practice basketball. So guess what? I looked at his habits and said, oh, you're going to Wall Street. So we got to, as parents and Jimmy, as influencers, we have to groom them younger. See, now this new generation who's coming up under the chop shop and hearing my voice, if their parents are listening, we're grooming our next generation to understand that that is very, very, very important for the education. And that's all it is. We got to value it. But guess what's happening in our culture? We're valuing going to the gym and working out. We're valuing, we got 200 and some teams didn't want to pull out of Jimmy's event because they wanted to play what? Basketball. So we valued that basketball more than we valued somebody who's coming, somebody who's education. Jimmy said this the year. He said, look here, I want to start talk about who are my academic all-stars out there in our community. We're going to start talking about them. That's culture. This the things that we need to do, K. Cole Grace. These are the things that we need to do to, notice, not make them, but groom them. Groom them into make. I know my son think he made that decision to go to Cornell. He thought he did it. I'm going to Cornell. Dude.
Exactly.
I've been groomed. Yeah. Alan Branch came over here and told him. Exactly. I was talking about this and grooming him in the 6th grade. Why you think I sent him to Kincaid?
That's the thing. So this is the equation that I'm talking about as far as the influence. And there's like some kids. If you wonder, dude, Sandra, I don't care what we eat. Well, if it's a finger, if you can eat it without a fork, the meat. She gonna want some ranch dressing to go with that food. Ranch dressing. Bless her heart. I'm talking about a certain kind.
Hey,
so
I like ranch too. Hey, I like ranch too, Jim.
Dude, I go to the store, I get light ranch. I look up, they done threw the whole bottle of light ranch in the trash.
Yeah.
They don't want light ranch. They want ranch. My point is this. The daughters, Jessica, she gonna make everybody go back and bring us some more ranch. She always gonna want extra ranch.
Me too.
Isaiah and her don't want to order nothing more than chicken tenders. Know why? Because they want ranch. My point is this. The kids, they emulate what they idolize at a young age. And education goes into that, and you're being influenced by a lot of things. For example, out of one of my spots, one of the things that everybody has something. Every one of you have something that you grew up eating. And if you think back on it, you ate that because your dad or your mom made it look so good, or made it smell or taste so good when they ate it and gave it to you. You eat it too.
Great word. That's good.
You're Two right. of my things my mom ate, and I'm to this day that most people don't really care for. Beets was one. My mom, I don't know what it was, she made beets and okra. Okra. A lot of people don't like okra.
I can't stand it. And my mama used to cook it all the time. Can't stand it.
But okra, I'm down with it. Beets, I'm down with it. Now I don't buy them and eat them every day like that on my own. But I got a can of beets in the thing. That's out of good, just for psychologically complacency. But my thing is, if you are grooming the kids to understand certain things, when they get ready to make their decision, knowing that you can stick your chest out, because you understand, you've already morphed them to kind of know what balls or what holes they're going to go and choose from. You already know. That's the thing. A lot of people out here just saying, go for it, kid, grab your thing, and we'll deal with it, man. It's us against the world. They don't care about you. You go get this thing, go get this bread, go get this bag. And now when the bag isn't attained, that guy who was influencing you at first is likely not going to be there anymore. That's my thing.
Jimmy,
and you know that.
Jimmy, I got a disturbing text. Somebody just texted me. And it's disturbing because I don't believe it, but it might be true. Okay? They said, man, you tripping. How many black fathers are in a household talking like you talk? That's not realistic in a lot of black homes, mine included. Then her son had a zero father involvement. That's why I'm on this. Me and Jimmy is taking out the time. If y'all know anything is a theme about this chop shop, that we, if Jimmy, just like if the kids see the parents, so if I keep regurgitating my story over and over and over, how this thing happened for me, is a college coach told me. I tell you it, Alvin Brooks, a junior, U of H coach. He said, Robert, you need to hammer that in. Faith comes by hearing, and hearing the word. They got to hear it more and more and know and understand. A young black boy from Memphis, Tennessee can think about, country boy from Memphis, Tennessee can move to Houston. Memphis had no professional teams. I moved here and y'all got every professional team known to man. You think I was leaving and going back home? You got to be out your mind. And put myself in the sixth, about the fifth or sixth grade, I tried to just say, look, I want my son to go to University of Memphis. I went there. I want him to do better. I want him to go to Harvard. What I said. So, of course, they said, I'm tripping. No, I'm not tripping, because some other father, I just saw the other day, a young kid in Dallas. Stacy might know him. I don't know the kid. I should have screenshotted it. He done committed to Cornell. A young basketball player in Dallas. I don't know the kid. I hope I had some kind of influence over. I hope the powers that be, the Cynthias and the Buffs and the guys up there, I hope they done heard this chop shop, and I hope them people up there listening, because this just ain't for Houston. It's for all over the world. Every time I see that, it warms my heart because I know it. Hold up, now it ain't for everybody. Jimmy, you remember you said something about how hard academically it is. Their professors don't worry about what you do at the game. They don't even go to the games. You got to be in class, homeboy. The day after you done hit 40, you got to be in class the next morning. Yes. So that's what. If we don't do anything else, thanks for that text though. That was a great text, but I think the daddies and the moms, our next generation, they gonna make better decisions, Jimmy. And I believe it, and I believe it, and I'm gonna preach it. I'm gonna talk about it until it comes to fruition. So that was a great text, but I think these people are listening out here. I think they are.
Oh, I think they're listening as well.
Yeah.
And speaking of the NBA declaration list is one thing.
Mm-hmm.
And on tomorrow,
okay,
we want to have a conversation with you guys about the transfers and what goes into that. Because remember I said that's part of the plan. You can't make me believe part of the plan was say, I'm going to go to this school. You didn't put all these good tweets out and all these good Instagram and edits and all this stuff out. And then all of a sudden you're gone. As it stands right now, there have been 20 players from Greater Houston to enter the transfer portal in men's basketball at the Division I level. Of those 20, 2 have already claimed their new destination. So that leaves 18 players who are in the transfer portal. And we're just going to just take a look at some of these guys and look at and of those 18, guess how many are freshmen or sophomores? Of those 18, 14. 14 are either freshmen or sophomores, and they're on the move again. So that's something that we will talk about.
I like that though, Jimmy. I mean, I be contemplating that about the transfers, and we got kids committing right now. If you watched over the weekend, you got my man John Robinson committed, man.
Yeah.
I like the coach up there though. Up there in King, I like that coach. What is his name? Johnny Estelle.
Yeah, at A&M Kingsville.
At A&M, I like him. I like what division is that, Jimmy?
That's I don't know if they D2 or NA. I think they're D2, if I'm not mistaken. A&M Kingsville. I think they're D2. That's where Alvin Brooks' son attends. He got hurt 2 years in a row. That's sad for him. But and Anthony Farb just said Riley Abercrombie just committed to Rice. And which, this young man here had went to Boise State and he came out of Clear Lake High School. And so, and what I did, dude, like I said, we're going to talk about all this stuff tomorrow.
Okay.
And the thing is, my point is, the magic point is, guys like Jai Robertson, you just mentioned, he's going to A&M Kingsville.
Yeah.
If you're a college coach, just think of the crop. He could have, Rice had a scholarship to offer him. But
wow.
Rice is going to take Riley Abercrombie with some college experience over this young man. So these scholarships, people trying to think they're not separate. We just categorize them separately, kind of like we just did with the NBA list a while ago. At the NBA list, we didn't give you the JUCOs. We didn't give you the overseas guys. We gave you the list of underclassmen. Right? So this thing, a lot of people just don't. And I hear people say it, and I see quotes all the time, and people get disgusted. Man, I know this guy can play here. I know he can play. No, stop. Stop. And as I mentioned to Kevin Allen a while ago on the feed, and I'm gonna remind you guys, when TSU and Prairie View had a combined 20 Division I transfers on their rosters this season. You can look them up for yourself. They were a combined 20 transfers. And guess what? All of them didn't play. All of them guys didn't play. D1 transfers. So that means now you're thinking in your mind, well, you know, so-and-so, no, I know he can go to play at Prairie View. Where? Tamir Bynum, who was an all-city candidate, right? When he was at Lamar High School just 2 seasons ago, he went and transferred from UTSA, and basically couldn't sniff the court at Prairie View this year.
And he can play.
He's talented. But then people forget the kid from Bridgeland. I can't think of his name. I think if somebody from DFW that's watching right now.
I got my dude name. My dude name is Evan Williams. Hey, y'all tell Evan Williams.
That's kid going to Cornell.
Yeah. Plano East High School. Evan Williams, if you Stacy, if parents need anything or any information from me, you make sure you make that happen. And I even have the Rob calling and how to navigate that thing up there. So hey man, anything we can do to help. All right. Now where was you at, Jimmy?
Yeah. What we were talking about? I'm looking at some of the comments and
oh, they're crazy.
Shout to Derek Daniels, the Fort Worth Dunbar legend. Derek Daniels.
Oh, okay.
Is on the feed.
What's up, Derek?
All-time leading assist.
Derek used to play at U of H?
At University.
Bad man.
Yeah, he played on one of my pro-am teams I sponsored back in the day.
Derek, me and you got to talk, Derek.
I had Derek Daniels.
Derek, me and you.
Bo Outlaw, Sam Mack. I had all those guys.
Me and Derek got to talk. We got to talk.
But the thing is, once again, tomorrow the transfers. Yeah. That should be a very good conversation.
Oh yeah.
And because we'll look at most people when they're thinking that they're leaving certain schools, most of them are not contemplating the reality that you're probably going to transfer down.
Right.
Everybody thinking that they can go back to the school that recruited them or some coach you talked on the phone with a few years ago, and that coach is going to be waiting on you right now to just pick up where you left off at. Put it like this. For many of you, may be fortunate and it can work just like that. You single guys out there. But if you in a relationship and you leave with this one, that don't mean you can go back to the other girl and just pick up where you left off. It don't happen like that all the time. In more cases, it don't happen. You know, and vice versa. So this is the situations that we look at. JJ Caldwell is in the portal. JJ Caldwell's in the portal.
He been in the portal a lot though, ain't he?
It's a different school. He wasn't in the portal with this school. He was in the portal with A&M. Now he's in the portal with New Mexico.
I say he been in the portal a lot. But Jimmy, Herb said something key. And I know we got 3 minutes left. He said, but man, I'm so tired of these know-it-all parents. Now listen to this and this transfer portal. One kid was committed to Baylor as a sophomore, decommitted, and went elsewhere. He redshirted as a true freshman. Now he's in the portal, and his dad is talking about going to Prairie View. His dad was telling me that he was going to put a Trae Young and be one and done. He could be halfway through a Baylor degree right now. Wow. Unbelievable.
I mean, that's the whole thing. Remember the persons of influence. And then a lot of times, if you look and follow the dots backwards, and you look at the apple, mm-hmm. and sometimes you just look over at the tree. Don't just look at the tree. Look at the limbs. Look at the limbs of that tree, and you'll say, "Oh, I see. That's all you have to do in a lot of these situations." And
not all the time though, because my son ain't nothing like me.
What do you mean?
He way better.
What do you mean? Hold on. Do you have a college degree?
Yeah.
Okay, so that means it was in for. Do his mama have a college degree?
Yeah.
It's hard to not have that applied unless you are a no-brainer. It's, of talent. It's hard to that not to, because that's going to be every step of the way. Your decisions are going to be.
But Jimmy, Barack Obama, mom and daddy didn't have a degree, and he went to Harvard.
Understand, Barack Obama is an exception to the rule, and there's exceptions to every rule.
Okay.
We're talking about in the normalities of things. When you see it, in other words, for the kid who has both parents with the college degree, that kid will hardly ever make the college decision and ill advised, put it like that. That kid will hardly ever make the decision ill advised.
Come on, Jimmy. I mean, yeah. It's a great. He got a greater chance of success. You're saying, if you're around it, yeah. Now you're right. If you're around it, you're right. You're right.
And I'm not talking about the talent, the ultra talented player. I'm not talking about him. I'm talking about the average talent, the average type of talent that's not out, that hadn't blasted out the box. That's the kid I'm talking about. Like we did mention, and I put on Twitter, we get ready to land this plane, guys. Toby Oyedeji, next month will mark 10 years since he passed away, coming home from the prom. If you met Toby back then, after you talked to him, you could pretty much tell that his mom and dad was you could tell the education component. His dad was a doctor or in the medical field. You could tell. Some of these kids, you could tell when you're talking to them. You could tell, you could sense, and people say, "Oh, that might be stereotyping." Yeah, maybe so. Hell, don't act like we don't.
Yeah,
but you're gonna run your ass in the wrong store, one of them bandanas, or with your homemade mask around if you want to, and watch how the stereotyping will still kick in effect, even though we got COVID-19 out there. You think I'm joking? You go on the wrong side of town. Run your butt over there in the wrong neighborhood with one of them things around and watch what happens.
That ain't our fault, Jimmy. That's their fault. That ain't our fault. Boy, you done went overtime. Oh, you didn't go there. Yeah, you done went a little.
We started a little late today. So
we started a little late. We good.
Sure, guys, share the show.
Yes.
Shout out to my people over there, Derek Johnson, Karen Thomas.
And Jimmy
Davis on the YouTube right now, on watching.
I want to take a shout out to everybody who was on the show on Friday. And if you wasn't, Facebook, go over there and watch the show. Some great insight. Stacey Houston, Rod Hampton, LJ Cryer. Y'all saw LJ Cryer in a whole different manner. He's usually quiet, but he was so much fun. So go over there. It's on YouTube only, so you have to go over there and watch it. But I appreciate y'all when we put out the call and y'all responded so well. I thank you. Herb was on there. Herb, I didn't know you was the first option. My bad. Now I know. When I saw your other thing, I didn't know that was Herb the whole time. So whenever you come on on YouTube, let us know what your Facebook name is, because we've been used to talking to you on Facebook. So, Jimmy, what else you got?
And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go in and put in for the board to go in and put 3 minutes on the clock. Because you're gonna explode. You're gonna explode if you don't get the chance to talk about this Floyd Mayweather. And
no, let's do it tomorrow, Jimmy. Let's do it tomorrow.
Okay.
Let's do it tomorrow. So no. I'm good. They want to talk about it.
And also tomorrow, we will open up the phone lines tomorrow and give you guys a thought, because it's transfer conversation. And understand, I don't have a stance on it. I'm not leaning and mad at the transfers. So it's not one of those bashing the transfer conversation. Right. It's just that if you went to a college and you're leaving after 1 to 2 years, and knowing that the players that was there before you got there, and you knowing the system, and you're leaving, that means one thing that contributed to it was the fact that you probably went there without doing all of your homework. And that's the thing that I'm saying. people got to do better at doing doing our homework and making these decisions. We must do better. Shout out to Randy Johnson out there. I see you, Trina Williams-Mouton, Troy Callahan out there, and and Herb Baker. Great comments. He probably gonna win the comments section. He has a bunch of posts today, and Anthony Favre as well. But anyway, guys, it's time to slide on down Dino's back and yabba dabba do this thing. We appreciate your time.
Jimmy, hold up. Answer this one, Jimmy. Tremaine, if it wasn't Tremaine Jordan, I would. He said, "Is Yuri going to answer the question on why he ain't helped that boy though?" What boy? What boy?
Which boy?
Yeah. Is Yuri going to answer the question why? But Jimmy, PJ Haggerty got an offer from Florida State. Him and
No. I talked to the Florida State head coach.
Well, I'm gonna leave that alone.
I talked to him. He actually, let me give you some intel. John Yuri went on Twitter and announced that 2 of his players received offers from Florida State.
Don't tell me that, man.
Understand something.
Don't tell me that.
I was busy and and somebody asked me, is that true? You know, people ask me all the time, is this true or not? And I have a means with a lot of coaches to verify.
I'm done.
I didn't have time. Guess what happened? My phone rang about an hour later, and it was Leonard Hamilton. Leonard Hamilton was calling me, asking me questions about the kids. And then I said, well, no. Did you offer them? Because I just got the message that you offered. He said, Hicks, you know John Yuri, man. I said, yeah, coach, I know him. He said, John gonna mess around and get embarrassed out here doing this stuff to these kids. That was his quote. He didn't say no, didn't say yes, but he says, you know John Yuri, and John is gonna mess around and embarrass himself. So I text John Yuri and say, yo, John, I talked to Coach Ham. He did not say that he offered your players.
I'm
John
done.
He did not reply back, and I went back on social media and I let him know that I've confirmed that this is not true, and he didn't reply back. And so some people don't want to reply back because you don't. But that's another thing we
got to talk about. Jimmy, no, Alfio gave me that bad dope. He put it on the screen. So Jimmy, I apologize. I should have asked you first. And man, he need to cut that out, Jimmy. Now, no. We got to cut that out, man. Got to cut that out, man. Man, let's go, man. I'm going.
Yeah, man.
I got to go meditate now.
So that's we continue this on tomorrow. Shout out to Yolanda Green. I see you out there, girl. And for being ballers, man, welcome to the Chop Shop. Glad that you have been a daily fixture with us at late. Make sure you spread the word, guys.
Yes.
Let people know that the Chop Shop exists, and it's a pretty. It's
tell a friend, tell another friend.
Absolutely. And so guess what? But meanwhile, see you guys in 22 hours. We'll be right back at it.
I'm done.
Make sure if you hadn't done so, like our page on Facebook and or YouTube. Simply go like our page. That way when we get ready to come on, it'll send you a notification on alert. And that way you'll be right on the money and get up in there. Anyway, guys, on behalf of Robert Howard, Jim Hicks, it's time for me to get up out of here. See you guys tomorrow. Peace. Chop shop.
I'm done.
Jim Hicks. Rob Hatter. You are now tuned in to the Chop Shop. I'm Retro. Let's get it. We in the chop.